kind of do PR by doing social media, but this was interesting because this is the annoying side of PR that even when I was working in a PR agency, I used to not want to do. Sometimes it would make me do that. So it's interesting to see the formula of writing a press release. I think my PR workmates used to make it sound really hard. I think they want us to think that
it doesn't have to be true. We can imagine, right?
No, it doesn't have to be true.
Exactly.
Just make it up. Like think of something very, very profound, like something that is huge. Think beyond the local media. Think of would this story most likely be picked up by CNN or BBC? I want you to think like that.
Summit.
Isn't that the truth?
Twins on her back.
Oh, okay.
Any brand or whether it's an organization, government, as long as you're building a brand, then for a lot of brands, they feel that, and especially now because social media has grown and the reach is growing wider because of people's access to the internet, people has access to devices that are connected. A lot of brands feel we don't need PR. Why do we need PR? We're on social media, on all the platforms that matter. We have a huge presence on Twitter. We have a huge presence on Instagram.
Especially banks.
We have over 200,000 followers. And this I have seen not just with individual brands around individuals, like let's say personalities, but also even huge organizations. They don't really see the need for PR. And one of the things that a lot of those brands fail to understand is something that we call the long tail when it comes to long tail in media. So and to sort of break that down is think of I'll bring in a concept called the walled garden. Okay, so the walled garden is all these social media spaces are walled gardens in the sense that they're not searchable, they're not Googleable. If you think about how people find information, previously it used to be people would go and Google. Actually became a term like you're told, go Google it. But now we're seeing a transition from Google to the ChatGPTs of this world. But if you think about where this ChatGPT services, where are they getting their content from? It's become quite controversial. It's still Google, and Google gets its results from sites. Right? So what happens when you're a brand and you're trying to be found online, and you're trying to establish yourself as a thought leader on a particular matter, or a subject matter expert on a particular topic? All the content that you're sharing on Twitter, all the content that you're sharing on Instagram and on Facebook is not being found, but Google looking for you on Google. All right, and that is where now PR comes in, because PR is about storytelling, and the storytelling here is you first and foremost owning your narrative, which is very important. Again, think about it in terms of ownership. Now, ownership of content, when you put this content on social media platforms, you don't own the content. The social media platform owns the content. So the day they decide they're going to bring it down,
you're gone.
You're gone. All right. So the other thing that I like talking to brands about, especially when it comes to PR, is owning your narrative and owning your content. So when you own the narrative, it is that press release that you put together and you share with media. You're the one who has decided what narrative you're going to share. This is what we did, this is what we are doing, or this is who we are, and this is what we stand for, and these are the products we have, or this is what we are doing. This point are not able to share. But for the purposes of this particular challenge, because you guys have been doing a lot on social media, I doubt if you've ever done a press release.
Never.
Okay? I'll tell you why it is important to do a press release. Because the assumption is that you have a lot of following on social media, that your reach has grown. But you'll be surprised, a lot of the people who probably follow you are those who are within the same circles.
Yeah.
You're within the same circles. And so that your reach doesn't go beyond people who would ordinarily not know you personally, or you personally, or in the same circles. And so where now media comes in is that media still has the broadest reach. So depending on what kind of media you're looking to engage with, a local scale, national scale, regional or global, right? So again, something that brands need to look at is whatever it is that whatever information we want to share out there, to whose interest is it? Like, who would be interested?
And we're not telling the truth. The truth is boring.
Why?
Because
Don't you think we're amazing
we're not
already?
interesting enough. Akumu is a
We are not interesting enough.
renowned.
So why a press release? As I've said, this is to share this is to share, there's probably something newsworthy that you've done. Because think about it in terms of a medium, a journalist or a reporter. Why a reporter will run that story is because it has a news aspect. People want to know, it is informative, it is educational, it is entertaining. So your press release, you don't just send out press releases as a brand just for the sake of sending out press releases. There has to be a newsworthiness to what it is that you're telling media. What are you telling? What do you want the media? Why do you want them to cover you? You want their audience to know that there's a podcast that is called Yes Girls, and we have this massive, and this is unprecedented for a Kenyan podcast, right?
Okay. So we have to create a scenario.
So you need to find those elements of why would this be newsworthy. That's one of the things to think
Why
about.
they would buy it.
Yes. Okay. Why would someone read that story? Yeah. First of all, so think about it in terms of the reader, because what the reader wants is now what informs what the reporter is going to focus on. Okay. So why would it be of interest to the journalist? All right. So that's the one thing to think about the press release. Who's your target audience? Then two, the target audience, is the target audience going to be reached by your local journalist, your regional journalist, or international journalist? That also informs the tone, the tone of your press release. So the challenge that I'm giving you is to put together a press release. So you have to think about the newsworthiness. What is it that we are telling people? Is it that we are launching? We're launching our podcast officially. Is it that we are marking a milestone? Is it that we have a partnership?
What is that? I can't read your handwriting.
It's the upside down pyramid. The why, who, what, not the why, the what, who, how, when.
So you focus on the most important aspects of the story at the very top, and then you focus on the why. So you trickle down to the why. So that's how you're going to go about your press release. And you also have to put together a list of journalists.
Oh, so the ones we are sending to.
Yes.
You have to research.
So you have to do a bit of research. I told you it's a take home.
Okay.
Okay. So putting together the press release. And I'll give you the guidelines. One of the other key things in putting together a press release is quotes. Your press release has to include quotes, and so.
Do they have to be like powerful people? Like
No, just yourselves.
Okay.
It could be yourselves. It could also be. It would also help when you have like an industry thought leader, so that it's not just you bragging about, oh, this is so big for us. Like
so it has to be a third person.
It has to be an endorsement from a third party. So you could probably talk to Dan or anyone in the podcasting space to talk about why this is such a great achievement for you guys. And then now your podcast, not your podcast, but your press release needs to also inform the reader. So sharing statistics on the podcasting landscape in Kenya or the podcasting landscape in Africa, that helps in putting your story within a context. We're probably looking at less than 500 words.
Okay.
Yeah, about there. I'll send you a template, and then you guys can
work on this.
Can work from
Interesting.
there.
Yeah. This is like a manifestation. we are creating a new thing that hasn't happened yet, right? Spin doctor, right here.
Because recently, let's be vague here.
It's your first one, no?
That's
I mean, you've
That's
seen
my-
one before.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the concept, but writing one with specific pointers from an expert was very different.
So it was cool to just figure out how to structure it, you know.
We did make up a lot of stuff, but the essence of it was the structure, what needs to be included, like thinking of what's newsworthy. That was really interesting to focus on, to focus our attention.
I think it's something that I'll not forget ever again. It's beautiful.
And I like what she said, what Njeri said about, like, even in this age of digital media, social media, we don't think we need PR, but you still do. Like, what is it, the narrative that you want to put out there? And I think that is crucial. So my narrative is that I'm a boss.